Tonight, Zack Snyder reveals the black Superman suit. Will we finally see Hailee Steinfeld as our Kate Bishop? And Geeky, Emmy, goodness on comic book canon. Welcome to Comic Book Canon. I cannot believe it's already Friday because it felt like yesterday we were just here talking about comic books and pop culture, the things that we love. Am I right, Chris? Am I right?
Absolutely. I didn't sleep much this week, so it all ran together, but I'm glad that we are here again today.
Yeah, it is all running together. I mean, like, literally, I do feel like we were just talking to this fine audience 24 hours ago, but it has been a full week. It is Friday. We are here for another episode of Comic Book Canon. Lots to talk about. First thing I do want to bring up, Chris, very underwhelming San Diego Comic-Con. We talked right in the middle of all the, I guess, action, but not much action.
Yeah, and I wouldn't put this on the fact that it's all virtual. I just think that the crisis impacted the news and what could be announced on an even broader level. So I'm still hopeful that, in years moving forward, that when Comic-Con is hopefully back up and running, the virtual aspect of it will still bring, some really, really awesome, fan interaction.
Yeah, I mean, we got DC Fandom August 22nd, so that will definitely give us good, juicy nuggets. Hopefully Marvel does something for us here. Like, yes. Really hoping they do something for us because I'm personally starving for Marvel content.
Absolutely.
But for us to start tonight, we start with the news, and we are not starting with Marvel content. We are starting with DC. Zack Snyder recently at JusticeCon debuted the black Superman suit. This had everybody in a tizzy. We kind of all knew this was coming, but just finally seeing it in action, it was a little bit of a joy, I have to say, and gets me even more excited for Zack Snyder's vision of the Justice League. Why don't we just check it out, shall we?
I'm ready.
Just give it a look.
Assuming you're Alfred.
I'm assuming you're Alfred. Not bad. Now, with this, as we mentioned before, we do have DC Fandom coming up, and it is confirmed that the title and the format, meaning will it be a limited series, will it be a gigantic, really long movie, that will be revealed at DC Fandom as well as a trailer. So this is exciting, Chris. This is the stuff that we need right now.
Yes, I'll say it again. I think we said this a lot. As much as I am a critic of Zack Snyder, I think this whole route and this avenue is really good for DC and Warner Brothers right now. The suit in itself is something that's very nostalgic. It looks great. Part of me sees it and feels a bit disappointed because it reminds me of the Spider-Man 3 black suit, but that was in my opinion, that was a black suit fail. I think this will be a black suit success. It's fitting, and I am again, I am very, very enthusiastic about where this is going to lead.
I mean, especially now, like the mindset all of us comic book fans are in, we're waiting for content on the big screen or TV, and it's just stalling. So these kinds of things really help out. Now, the first appearance of the black suit was in the 90s here, and there's a lot of debate on what the first appearance was. There's a lot of cameos mixed with actual first appearance. So we'll go through this here. We got Action Comics 689. Now, again, this is a debate because it's just a black suit he's wearing with white trim, and there's no S insignia. It's going for like $14.80 raw and $65 at a 9.8 based on Cover Price's data. Then next we have Man of Steel 25 in the final panel. It's the full suit with the S. That's going for $8.25 raw and $85, 9.8 CGC. And Superman 81 is the first full appearance and cover appearance of the black suit. This is going for $3.20 raw and $27.52 in a 9.8 based off of Cover Price's data. Chris, I find this all interesting because we've said many times the market will decide what book is the first appearance, cameo, etc., and what's more popular.
Right. Respect the label, right? Respect the labels. The labels have evolved and they are there. But here again proves a point that, look, the market is still demanding a book that is labeled a cameo appearance more than a full appearance. It's great. One thing, and I have my copies here. Really quick side note here. And I got all these as a kid. This is really fun for me. Check out this price tag. It says Stand Up Comics El Cerrito, $1.75. This is the original bag and board that I picked this up in the 90s. So at a Bay Area comic shop. I think that's pretty cool. But moving on, what I think is really cool that validates the cameo next to full appearance is that what DC was doing with the Superman runs in the 90s when they were having the numbers of the Superman runs, which there was at this point 3, and then there ended up being 4 with Man of Steel, right? And then there was like Man of Tomorrow. There ended up being 5, but they ran them together. Even though this is Action Comics, 688, right, or 689? It's the 20th release of the Superman comics in 1993. We know that came first, as this next one was 25, and the last one was 26, which is considered the first full appearance. Now, even though both of these books came out the same month, this technically comes first, and we know it because of this numbering right here. So I think that's really cool that they did back then in the 90s. And again, just that helps us know what came first. But the market is still demanding. $15 next to a $3 price point from a cameo to a first full appearance. Yeah. Hey, I love it, man. I love it.
Absolutely. Now, again, those are the first appearances of the black suit. Go check them out. See if you can find them in your local comic book shop or online. But very exciting to finally see a little bit of like the black suit, the black Superman suit. Moving on though, Chris, we do have some Marvel news. What do we got?
Yes, very exciting. So it was announced by Illuminati. By the Illuminati that Kate Bishop has been cast by Hailee Steinfeld. Now, this is I wanted Steinfeld to play Rogue, but look, she's been in talks for this character for over a year now. Rumors did surface last year that she was being offered this role. There are also rumors that the production of the show are going to pick up again in October. Now, this was announced by the Illuminati, and I will say, giving the Illuminati's track record, this is probably the closest thing to proof that this is solidified next to hearing it from Marvel Studios or Disney themselves. So I think this is pretty much a green light. I'm excited. I love her in Bumblebee, and after I saw that movie, I immediately was like, she needs to be in the MCU to some extent. So I'm happy to hear this announcement, and I'm happy that it's getting back into production, and we are getting this ball rolling again on this show.
Yeah, she impressed me in Bumblebee as well. I was really like, I'll be honest, I didn't know much about her, but seeing her in Bumblebee, she was excellent, and like her actually playing this character, Kate Bishop, it's her. Look at it. This is the image that they released Comic-Con last year, announcing that there will be a Hawkeye show. That's her. That's Kate Bishop right there. That's Hailee Steinfeld. And we're not there yet. It's not a lock yet, but this is pretty close. Again, because Illuminati's track record is pretty good. It's I wouldn't be surprised if an announcement came in the next couple of weeks.
Right. Yeah, and as we know with speculation on characters, this Kate Bishop's first appearance is been hot ever since the announcement of the Hawkeye show. This is just going to add more fire underneath it. I mean, when you look at the Young Avengers #1, which is the first appearance of Kate Bishop, market, according to coverprice.com right now, has this book at $99 raw, almost hitting that $100 mark, and $240 at a fair market value for a 9.8 slab. Again, I always look at the steps of these announcements. Right now, we are close to being solidified. Watch it catch more fire. But once we get Marvel Studios making that final announcement that this is legit, watch out for this book up until the release of this show.
I do want to point out from our audience here, actually, my good friend Dan Mills, Seinfeld can play anything she wants. I'm pretty sure he meant Steinfeld. This will be good right here. Professor X even acceptable. I'm not going to go there. I wouldn't cast her as Professor X, but I'm pretty psyched that she could be our Kate Bishop. So that's let's see. Let's be on the lookout for that news, and let's just hope, because she's the one. To me, she's the one. All right, moving on though. Geeky, Emmy, goodness, oh my Lord, just validates how great the shows that we watch are. The Mandalorian and The Watchmen have been nominated for more than a handful of Emmys. Let's start off here with The Mandalorian with 15 Emmys. I'll list them off right here. Outstanding Drama Series, Outstanding Character Voiceover Performance, Taika Waititi as IG-11, Outstanding Guest Actor in a Drama Series, Giancarlo Esposito as Moff Gideon, excellent. Outstanding Production Design for a Narrative Program, true. Outstanding Cinematography for a Single Camera Series, true. Outstanding Fantasy Sci-Fi Costumes, true. Outstanding Single Camera Picture Editing for a Drama Series, true. Outstanding Percent of Makeup for a Series, Limited Series, Movie, or Special, true. Outstanding Music Composition for a Series, true. Outstanding Sound Editing for a Comedy or Drama Series and Animation, true. Outstanding Sound Mixing for a Comedy or Drama Series, true. Outstanding Visual Effects, true. Outstanding Stunt Coordination for a Drama Series, Limited Series, or Movie. I'm exhausted, Chris, but it's all deserved.
I agree. Every single one of them. I absolutely agree. This is the first time that besides your animated series, this is the first time we saw live action Star Wars being presented to us like this. And it was just done exceptionally well. And I think every single nomination is extremely valid. I just hope they take the win and at least one. I mean,
come on,
right?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Chances are pretty good. All right, so moving on from The Mandalorian, we had The Watchmen with 26 nominations, which just leads at all of the programming. And I'll just name a few off here. I'm not going to name all of them off, but it's a nominee for limited series. It cannot get full series because it didn't have enough episodes. Lead actress Regina King, absolutely. Supporting actor Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. He played Black Manta in Aquaman, absolutely. But he also played Dr. Manhattan. Supporting actor Louis Gossett Jr., yup. Supporting actor Jovan Adepo, I don't know who that is, but yup. Lead actor Jeremy Irons was just incredible. Supporting actress Jean Smart. I mean, come on, this was a world-class production. I was skeptical. I didn't, I thought the Watchmen movie was good for what it was, shot for shot, pretty much, of the graphic novel. I just didn't expect the substance, the nuance, and everything involved in what we saw in that Watchmen series, being a direct sequel from the graphic novel. It was excellent.
Yeah, you got to give credit to the fact that the way we are producing this genre is evolving, and more people are understanding it. And yeah, I think Watchmen, I believe it was a 2009 release that was a bit ahead of its time, but I think the writing itself within the books was a bit ahead of its time, and that's why producing this kind of content for live action maybe felt more natural. So I will say, and again, very, very deserving. I do hope they win. I will say this, and I want to get your feedback about this. Take this fact in mind. Daredevil was only nominated for 2 Emmys for season 1, and they were all like, the editing and stunt coordination and whatnot. And then same for season 2, there was only 3. Now Punisher only received 1 for stunt coordinator. So let me ask you this: does this not, as much as we think these are valid, does it not break your heart that this type of recognition was not there for some of these, earlier shows like Daredevil or Punisher?
It doesn't break my heart because I'll be honest, I don't think they were as deserving as these two productions were. And if you guys have Disney Plus, go check out the behind the scenes, the making of The Mandalorian. You'll see some innovative technology. For example, the prosthetics in Punisher or Daredevil were nothing compared to what The Mandalorian was dealing with. I just don't. They're not. I don't. I really love Daredevil. I like the Punisher, but I don't think they in terms of production, I don't think they held a candle to.
Yeah. And I'm not. That's the thing. I'm not talking production. I'm talking about the acting themselves. I think Charlie Cox and John Bernthal.
Charlie Cox is good.
Yeah. And even what's the Italian's name? D'Onofrio. That played
D'Onofrio is freaking outstanding.
Oh
my gosh. Listen, Kid Collector he's rather new to our channel. He watches us. I think for 3 weeks now. We really appreciate you. He's a younger collector that just got into the game. What the heck is The Watchmen? My man. One of the most one of the most acclaimed graphic novels in decades, and it kind of changed what comic books were in the mid '80s. We can talk a little bit about this offline. Hit us up on Instagram or Twitter at Comic Book Canon. Give us a follow, why don't you, while you're there too. But let's talk, man. We love that you're getting into this hobby. We love that you're asking these questions. We'll let you know. Excellent. Anyways, so again, both of those series absolutely deserving of those nominations, and I cannot wait to see what they bring home for the awards. Now, Chris, we're going to move on from Emmy nominations, and we're going to head over to Instagram auctions. What are we talking about?
Yeah, man, because what a world we're living in right now, and we talked about a couple weeks ago about the thriving, up climb of the comic book industry right now. And when this pandemic hit, we thought, man, this is just people are gonna stop buying books. The industry is gonna completely fall apart. I am happy to discuss the fact that Sci-Fi Wire reported on the success of live stream sales on social media platforms such as Instagram. In their article, they did credit, obviously, the high quality streaming technology that is there today. So that in mind, with the pandemic happening during these times of this high technology, comic book sellers, LCS, local comic book store owners have taken to Instagram and also Facebook to make money and sell books in a whole different platform. The thing that's amazing about this is I personally have talked to multiple LCS owners that have been doing weekly or bi-weekly Instagram sales or even Facebook live stream sales. And they are telling me that sometimes that these live sales on the days that they're having live stream sales, they're making more money on those days than a standard day pre-pandemic from foot traffic coming into their store. I've also talked to LCS owners that have talked about the fact that once, if we get over this COVID-19 crisis and the world starts hopefully returning to some kind of normalcy, they're going to continue to do this and to utilize these platforms of the on-stream live sales. I've seen local stores in my area, create these social media presence and have these sales. And now they're not just selling books to the greater Sacramento area or the Bay Area here in California. They are reaching customers nationwide and even possibly worldwide. So this is just another amazing acknowledgement of how the comic book community has evolved to continue to make this industry thrive even during desperate times.
Yeah, I mean it's adapting, right? It's adapting and dealing with the environment firsthand. And this is unprecedented what's been happening here. And people got money to spend, and they want to support their local comic book shops. And this is, I mean, just on my Instagram feed, just seeing all of these just kind of blow up. I love it. It's amazing, and it's definitely helping support the local comic book shops that need it.
Absolutely.
So with that is our news for the week. We are moving on to, as usual, the top 10 hottest comic books of the week based off of cover prices data. Now we do this a little bit differently. A lot of A lot of channels will dive into it the day it comes out. We are a Friday show. We like to talk about the overall news in comic book geek culture, all of that stuff. So we don't really dive into it on Tuesday. We dive into it now. We'll give you the top 10 here, but Chris is going to dive into his favorite 3 picks of that top 10 and give a little bit more detail. So here we go. Again, this is based on cover prices, sales data. Based on sales, this is not speculation. This is data off of eBay and other sites that have sold these books. So at number 10, we have Strange Academy #1. That is a hot book that has not left this top 10 list, I think, in 2 or 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Number 9 is Strange Academy #1, second printing. Number 8 is Ultimate Fallout. Number 4, speaking of a hot book, this has not left in months. Number 7 is The Empty Man #1. Number 6 is Catwoman #23, the Wu Chul Lee variant. 5 is Crisis on Infinite Earths #4. Number 4 is Venom #26, the first appearance of Virus. Number 3 is Catwoman 23, the regular cover. Number 2 is New Avengers #7. And number 1 is Venom #25. I mean, Null is just hot, as well as Venom, but Null is just hot, hot, hot. So, Chris, what do we have for the 3 that you like to dig in deep and give the audience a little bit more detail?
All right. So again, awesome books. Love seeing Miles Morales still up there. Absolutely. And we have some books that, like you said, have been hanging around for multiple weeks. That's awesome. The first book I want to talk about is Empty Man #1. Another Boom Studio success. Boom Studio is just, with their deals that they've cut to bring a lot of their titles to live action series and cinema. They are just, man, there's multiple, or loads, should I say, of speculation on, runs from Boom Studio that aren't even announced yet because we think that they're just going to keep coming. And this is another one. The Empty Man film adaptation is being set to be released in December now. It originally was going to have an August release. Obviously, everything's getting pushed back. But this is a story that's a mixture of, like murder, mystery, detective story with supernatural entities. So a lot of fun stuff going on. I think this is going to be an absolute, if not huge dollar amount success in the box office. I think it's going to have that cult classic following for sure. And when you talk about the book, again, it's hot. People want this stuff. So if you're looking at Boom Studio, anything with a #1 on it that hasn't been announced yet, maybe go grab that up if you like speculating on independent books. So that's my first book. And again, I always give love seeing the independent books in these top 10. My second book to talk about is Venom 26. So Venom, Donny Cates, again, just doing so much amazing things. The first thing I want to talk about, or why I like that this book is up here, is for one, because Donny Cates, I think, has really brought in a storytelling formula that is really speaking to all different types of people. We all know, especially with Marvel, over the last probably 10 years now almost, there's been a lot of divisiveness where, a lot of older heads are like, oh, comics aren't what they used to be. It's this and it's that. And I'm not going to dive into all that right now, but I will say Donny Cates is uniting the fandom. So let's put that out there. Big credit to Cates. Secondly, I want to talk about this because it goes back to something I talked about last week where, we saw Venom 25, which is being considered the first cameo appearance of Virus. So here's Venom 26, the first full appearance. I stated last week, because 26 wasn't around on the top 10, I said, look, here's another situation where the market is dictating what it wants, and people are still going after a cameo more than they're going after a full. But maybe it's just not caught on. Maybe the market will shift. Is that what's going on here? Are buyers now saying, well, shoot, now that I've done more research and the 26 is the first full appearance, I'm going to go after that. So obviously, #1, Venom 25 is still there. So I don't think that's everything that's going on. But hey, both books are up there. Donny Cates, regardless, I'm just happy to see the success here. All right, guys. Now, #1 is super cool because I just scored this book for pennies, basically. And sometimes us, that do speculate on books, it's fun when you feel like you scored. Man, I'm telling you. But I'm talking about New Avengers #7, the first appearance of the Illuminati in Marvel Comics. Now, this is a fun one to me because we didn't break the news, but we covered the news of the rumors of the Illuminati possibly showing up in some form or fashion in the MCU at some point. I think Jeff and I both discussed how this would be an amazing idea. There's so much they could do with it. But here's again, these are the stepping stones that I talk about when it comes to speculating based on movie or live action MCU hype in this instance. This is a rumor of all rumors, right? So let's take, for example, Illuminati. I just stated talking about Steinfeld with the Hawkeye casting that this is the closest thing we have to confirmation outside of coming from the mouth of Marvel Studios or Disney themselves. I do believe that the new Avengers or the Illuminati announcement isn't even at that level yet. It's still speculatory rumor, but yet this book is getting really hot. So we're in that kind of first stage of speculation. When we get closer, because if somebody like Illuminati says, look, I am confirming this is true, it's going to get even hotter. And then once we get that confirmation from a Kevin Feige or a Marvel Studios exec or whoever it may be, that's when it's going to take off. So if you guys can get this book for, under $20 right now, and you have the $20 to spend and you're into speculating and you like Illuminati or the new Avengers, I recommend, picking it up. It could indeed be a good investment for the future. But again, speculate at your own risk, right?
Definitely. That's all amazing detail. One thing I will say, though, I'm loving the independents, getting some love here on the top 10 list. We've seen quite a few in the past few weeks. But if you guys are looking to speculate to flip, in my opinion, it's not a good idea to do that with a villain because a villain is just going to kind of go by the wayside. Am I right? Well, here's the thing. They're not going to be as consistent and sought after as your hero.
Very, very interesting. I'm not disagreeing here, but I love that you brought this up. This is great. I love when things are brought up where it can really entice different opinions. This is a very interesting thing, I think, to speculate on itself. You take an example of Venom, right? Who's one of the hottest villains ever. So to one point, you can counter that and say, no, look at Venom. And to another point, you're right. Let's give an example of Miles Morales. I mean, who can name off the top of their head any of Miles Morales' main villains? I mean, I can. I've never been too deep into the character. So there's validity in what you say. So it's a very good thing to bring up because I think it's really a hit or miss with that. I think the lack of consistency with villains sometimes may strengthen that first appearance because it makes their appearances maybe a little more rare. But to your point, right, a lot of villains, we do see once and then they disappear for a few years, whatever, and we don't see them again. So I do think it's very valid to say that hype, especially with new books, when we're talking about new books and these new villains, I think there's a lot of thought to be put into that because you're right. People are speculating hard on things right now. And if that villain, just kind of disappears and, isn't, if we don't see him again in a few months and they're brought into another good storyline, it could definitely die off. So yeah, that's a very good thing to ponder, I think.
Let me rephrase. I think your chances are for a villain versus superhero, you have a higher chance with the superhero. Now with the villain though, there are outliers like Venom who are super popular that ended up becoming an anti-hero he is a hero. But then you have what's going on with Null right now. That's an outlier. That's insane, right? So putting stock into Virus, the first appearance of Virus in Venom #26, I don't know. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Will he be another Null? I can't. He's like a B-lister compared to Null in terms of being part of his army or what have you. So
right.
I don't know. That's what I wanted to rephrase that.
Absolutely. And I think this really speaks to the new modern books. It's a good point too, because I think the speculation around Virus has a lot to do with Donny Cates in general.
Yeah.
And I think Venom is already hot because of Null. So, you know, if Null never happened and Donny Cates wasn't getting hyped for multiple different runs right now, would Virus even be as hot as he is? So very good points. I do want to add one last thing too. I think what you're saying is very, very relates very much to those current books. I don't want to say modern, but the current books.
Yeah.
Whereas if we talk specifically about maybe say Bronze Age books or even Silver Age books, and we talk about movie hype,
yes,
I think that's a bit different still.
Yeah.
So kind of definitely want to put your errors in context.
If Null is ever even close to being sniffed around a movie screen, that book, goodbye. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's already goodbye. Like, it's right now. It's like, whoa, I can't reach that one right now. Right. So it's going to be interesting. But anyways, so that is our top 10 hottest comics of the week. Thank you for listening to us dissecting those three little nuggets that we take out each week. We'll again be back again with the top 10 hottest comics next week. But right now, we're going to do a fun little segment. As most of you may remember, I purchased a mystery box, my first mystery box. It was IG mystery box. I purchased it a few weeks ago. I unboxed it here live. I was quite disappointed with the results. So let me tell you what it was here. It was $199, guaranteed $300 worth of value. So that's what IG Comic Store is guaranteeing, $300 worth of value. I was interested because I thought I'd get a few, like, you know, kind of Bronze or Silver Age slabs here. You could have gotten Giant Size X-Men #1, Werewolf by Night #32, the first appearance of Moon Knight, and Batman 423, the McFarlane cover. Those are all CGC slabs. There's quite a bit that they were offering in these boxes. But so I took a chance and I gave it a try, and I was not too happy with what arrived at my doorstep. Chris, you remember exactly what it was. So I had no emotional attachment, no attachment to any of these comics whatsoever. So I decided to sell them all on eBay. My goal was just to get my money back. That was it. I kind of felt burned in a way because there were 12 comics in there. They were all IG exclusive variants, store variants, and that's not exactly the way to go either, Chris, in terms of like investing in comic books most of the time. So here we go. I'm going to go through the results right here and let you know how it played out and if I will do another mystery box again. So here we go. So the first issue was Wolverine #1, covered by Scott Williams. This is limited to 600 copies, again, an IG Store variant. IG Store had it on the site selling for $35. I sold it on eBay for $19.99. Now, these prices I sold it for did not include shipping. The buyer paid for shipping. So, you know, $19.99, okay, that's $20 right there. If I do $20 for each of these books, that's going to be $240. I'll clear, make my money back. So the next one was The Punisher #2, Virgin variant by Gabriel Delato, limited to 500 copies. IG Store had it on their site for $34.95. Sold on eBay for $20.50. Sure, okay. House of X #1, Virgin variant by Adi Granov, limited to 600 copies. IG Store was selling it for $59.95. It sold out on their site. This is only two books out of the 12 that were sold out on their site. It sold on eBay for $25.29. So Marvel Comics 1000, Virgin variant by Scott Williams. As you can see, this is a cover swipe of the old Jim Lee X-Men. Limited to 600 copies. IG Store had it for $49.95. It sold on eBay for $28. Okay? So you can see the prices are going up here. Punisher #1, trade variant by Gabriel Delato, limited to 800 copies. That's the highest print run, I do believe, out of all of these. IG Store was selling it for $24.95. It sold on eBay for $29. Not bad. $5 more than IG was selling it for. Now, I have to say, this cover right here, I was strongly considering keeping. Strongly considering keeping because I love the cover. But it was Return of Wolverine #2. Virgin variant by Gabriel Delato. It's 550 copies. IG Store was selling it for $59.95 for the set. There was this Virgin variant and then a trade variant. It sold on eBay for $30.56. Next up, we have Marvel Comics 1001 Virgin variant by Scott Williams. Again, another cover swipe of X-Men #1, limited to 600 copies. IG store, $39.95. It sold for $31, close to what IG was selling it for. Powers of X #1, Virgin variant by Scott Williams, limited to 400 copies. IG store selling for $59.95, and it was sold out. Sold on eBay for $31. Here we go. This is the last cover swipe or homage from Jim Lee's X-Men. That's usually Magneto, but there's Mr. Sinister, I do believe. Powers of X #2, Virgin variant by Scott Williams, limited to 600 copies. IG store, $39.95. Sold on eBay for $31. There's 3 books in a row, $31. Now this one's cool. What if Peter Parker became Punisher? Covered by Joe Jusko, limited to 600 copies. IG store, $39.95. Sold on eBay for $33.77. I did like this cover. The story, not so much, but this was cool. All right. Best Defense Silver Surfer #1, Virgin variant by Gabriel Dell'Otto, limited to 500 copies. IG store, $59.95 for the set. Sold on eBay for $61. I was very happy with that. Now here's the last book. This is the 12th book. Uncanny X-Men Giant Size #11, cover by Scan. I'm not familiar with that artist. Limited to 800 copies. Sorry, there was another 800 copies. IG store had it for $29.95. It did not sell. It was up there. It went up twice. Still here. However, this will be Comic Book Cannon's first giveaway. We will be giving this away. Chris and I just have to figure out what the giveaway is going to be. So stay tuned for that. But we will definitely be giving this away. So keep watching us, follow us, subscribe to Comic Book Cannon on Instagram. All right. So how did I do, Chris? How do you think I did?
Yeah, well, hey, look, you got your money back and you put a little cash in your pocket.
I'm about to get the results.
Oh, yeah. What?
How do you think I did?
Oh, well, yeah. Without going into the numbers, I obviously, I just gave it away. But here's the thing. Let me backtrack here.
By the way, Dan Mills says you got stitched, Jeff.
Yeah. Let me talk a little bit about that.
Dan Mills is from Australia, and I don't understand what that means.
I think ultimately, I disagree. Look, IG Comic Store, I'm not trying to throw them under the bus. I think what they did with this mystery box, they weren't lying. You got the value back, but it was an injustice because, look, you don't blatantly, self-absorb yourself into a mystery box by self-promotion. Here's what I would have done. Because IG store is big on these, exclusive covers. They're beautiful. Some of them are beautiful. There's a market for them. Look, you sold 11 out of the 12. There's a market for them. They're beautiful covers. Some people want them. If I was going into a book and I read the description that they promote these mystery boxes at, they don't sit there and say that this is going to be a self-absorbed promotion of us. They say, you might get this, you might get that, you might get some Bronze Age or some Silver Age, whatever it may be, and you get nothing but their own exclusive books. That's just not how you do it. Look, you want to promote yourself. I'm a businessman. Do that. You want to give away 12 books? Make 2 or 3 of them exclusive variant covers so you could get your name out there like that. Make 2 or 3 of them some Silver Age. Make 2 or 3 of them some Bronze Age. Make 2 or 3 of them some just random stuff, some independent stuff. I just think that trying to throw a whole mystery box out there with this very vain self-promotion is whack.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we talked after the show about this, and I was just like, man, that was really that was a bummer. And by the way, these boxes sold out quick.
Yeah.
Quick. I was not the only one getting these exclusive store variants. Okay, but now we're going to get into the results here. So basically, I did make my money back. It was $209 all in, including shipping. I got 12 IG variant comics, 340. I sold 11 out of 12 for $341 in eBay sales. Obviously, $34 in eBay fees. That leaves me with $307 after the fees, a $98 profit. Okay, that's decent. It's a lot of work to be selling to selling these, packaging these up, and putting them on eBay. But I was happy that I got my money back because I turned it around and put that money into something I feel like is a better investment. Not to say these are investments because I want to keep these, but first appearance of Kamala Khan. This book is going to blow up. I got both versions. I got the red version, which is a 32,000 print run. She's about to be released in the Avengers video game next month, and she's about to be announced. The lead actress is going to be announced for her Disney Plus show. She has all the ingredients for Miles Morales, except she's not Spider-Man. But I do believe these books are going to blow up. And this right here, second printing, blue label, is only 1,100 copies printed for that. So again, I put that money, I made a little bit more money, put that money into something that I valued more. But that was my experience with the mystery box. I don't think I will do another mystery box again. It has to be pretty special, but again, really felt burnt, and it's going to be hard for me to go back to another mystery box.
Absolutely. Hey, I hear you, Jeff. And, I think it ended up working out in your favor, like you said, with a lot of hard work. And I think you're going to, if you ever sell those books that you flip that investment for, you're going to have even more cash in your pocket later down the line. But I agree. It's like, for one, you're always taking a risk with mystery box, but I would like to see more transparency from IG Store in terms of what they're giving out. But I even saw, some folks watching, Kid Collectors, commenting, saying, he would never buy a mystery box. He would rather take that money and put it to something to where he knows what he is getting. I've been the same way, but hey, if people are in it for the surprise, then, some people out there really enjoy it. But I think me and you are kind of on the same page here for sure.
So I watch another YouTuber called Very Gary Comics. He's great, and he does mystery boxes all the time. And he says 30% of the mystery box that you're paying for is the excitement, the anticipation, right? And that's what was me. I got sucked in. I'm like, man, I get that X-Men giant size. I was like, yeah, and I felt like I had a chance, right?
It's like playing the lottery, right? Or scratching a ticket.
Yeah. So, and Bishner, here's Bishner. The idea of a mystery box is awesome, but I have yet to see one that's worth it. That's a good point. Like I don't personally know people that have nailed one out the park, So we will see. Mike Sears, how long did it take to get that money? I want to say 3 weeks or so. It wasn't, but everybody here knows how much work goes into putting these books, especially 10 books or 12 books all at once on eBay.
Right. Absolutely.
But Chris, you do have a good suggestion for a mystery box, though, don't you?
Yeah. I've seen a couple that was worth it. My local shop, A1 Comics, they have some really cheap $25 boxes that have definitely been worth it. But there's a mystery box that is hands down. I put everything that I stand for in stating that these are probably the best mystery boxes that are worth it. And not only that, but they go to a cause. And we wanted to talk a little bit about it today on the stream. And that is Jack B's charity mystery box. Guys, I do believe we have the link in the description below. Go check out Jack B on YouTube. He posted a video, which the link is to, that talks about what you need to do to enter it, talks about what the goal is of these mystery boxes. His goal is to raise $1,000 from proceeds to go to feed the children. Jack B is just an amazing human being. He's an amazing person in this community. So go check that out. And hey, look, if mystery boxes are for you, I've seen his mystery boxes, and believe me, Jack B puts heart and soul into each mystery box that he delivers, and he makes it worth it for everyone. And look, you get to, part of your funds that you're paying for this mystery box with go to a very, very good cause. So go check out that link below. You can also find him on Instagram. I believe it's Jack B Comics. So just go check him out, look into that, watch the video, and go support a good cause. All
right, I take it back. I will do another I would do another mystery box, something that supports a good cause. So I'm going to look into that as well. But that is it for our mystery box sell-off segment. Right now is Q&A. The past couple weeks, it's been fast and furious in these comment sections and hard to keep up for a two-man show here. So we will do our best. We appreciate every comment and question that you guys have, but it's getting a little hard. StreamYard needs to produce a button or a bookmark where we can go back and see what questions are asked. I'm going to get on that. But Right now, though, question: what grades are those Kamala books? Kid Collector wants to know. You know, the blue one's not in the best grade. I don't know if you can see. There is a little bit of denting right there that I'm gonna have to get pressed out. There's a little nick right there, right there, that will not go away. It's not in the best shape that I thought it would be, but man, this point one is in fantastic shape. I really don't see any kind of, I don't see much. I see maybe a little bit of a nick right there, but these are in really, really, really good shape, and I'm psyched to have them. You know, this is going to be a hot book, guys. I really think. Chris, what do you think about that book? Do you think that's going to be a hot book?
Yeah. You know, I think I've talked about before how introducing new characters outside of Silver and Bronze Age is really tough to do. We talk about characters like Venom or Deadpool that are outliers in themselves, where, you know, a lot of new characters, you know, they tend to not get that same hype. I mean, how many did we get in the 80s and 90s, like Night Thrasher, you know, or Darkhawk or whatnot, that just never picked up really. But look, Marvel over the last 10 years, I really think these characters are going to be for the new generation. So yeah, now I believe Miles Morales is going to be kind of the leader of the pack, but I do believe that, you know, these characters, there's an avenue for them. They're going to continue to get hot, and we're gonna see them in live action. We're going to see them in animated films. We're going to see them in video games. They are going to be here for a very, very long time.
It's Miles, Kamala, and Riri. I mean, all day.
Yeah.
Isaac wants to know if I'm going to get those books graded. Absolutely. I am definitely going to get those books graded, no doubt. Bishner, hey, Chris, what press do you think you'll buy to upgrade your broken one?
One that I can afford. You know, I'm looking into a clamshell press. The presses that have, well, you know, if you look at like cheap presses online, where you do have the handle, but it's on it's basically on a cheaply welded rig where the pressure comes from the plate that drops. It's hard to describe without looking at it, but it's just, if you look at these presses that are on like Amazon and eBay, be very careful. And you guys can go to my channel and watch the videos that I've done on them. But they're very cheaply made. And my dad was a welder, and he taught, I forget the technical name for it, but there's this cheap form of welding that they do. And it just, the pressure of closing these presses ends up snapping the weld job. So when you think about clamshell presses, even the cheaper ones, they don't have as much of that rigged welding going on. When they close and clamp, there's a lot better pressure. So I'm going to be looking for some form of clamshell press. It's probably going to have to be a cheaper one, on the cheaper end still, just because I can't afford the one that I really want at this point anyways.
All right. Dan Mills, great question here. Jeff, Chris, what would you both suggest as a good comic book entry point in this day and age? That is a good question. Like, man. You know,
that's a loaded question. That's so many.
It's really tough. It depends what you're into, to be honest. Yep. But if you're looking just, I mean, I would have to say a great entry point. Tell me if I'm wrong. I bet you Kid Collector's going to agree with this, but Strange Academy #1. That would be a good entry point right there. You have a ton of new characters, right? It's basically like X-Men for sorcery, right? You have Doctor Strange as, you know, leading this you know, teaching these groups of kids. I cannot remember the other character's name. But, you know, and again, a ton of new characters to kind of open the door into other avenues of the Marvel universe.
Yeah, you know, I think that question right there is like, the answer to it is its own show, because you know, there's some, like, how is it? Are you a kid getting into books? Are you a young adult? Are you a grown adult? Yeah. Do you just want to stick with modern books? Do you want to go back? When I hear that comment, I think about, look, comics have been around for, you know, or Spider-Man and whatnot have been around for 50 plus years now. When you talk about Marvel, DC, 80 years. So what's a good starting point in that realm of things? I always say, look, your answer is probably going to lie in some form of trade paperback. where you could find a good run and either go all the way back to the beginning, like I did with Spider-Man, to Amazing Fantasy 15, and then I read Amazing Spider-Man from 1 to modern in the cheap trade paperbacks of the black and white printed essential books. Or, do you know that you like darker themed stuff? So then you could say, well, pick out Batman, Frank Miller, go find those trades. So it really all depends. Like Jeff said, what are you into? What type of stories do you like? What kind of characters do you think? What kind of genre really fits you? And then there's so many starting points along the way. I think, to Jeff's point, for younger readers that are getting into it today, Strange Academy, hands down, it would be an amazing read to get young kids going. So yeah, it's all, man. Like I said, shoot me a private message and ask me some questions, and we'll go at it, because I can answer that one question for like an hour.
I mean, longer than an hour. It could be a conversation that lasts for weeks. Kid Collector, 2 things here. I cannot say enough good things about Strange Academy. Actually, Mike Sears, are you interested in preserving your value in the comics you purchase? Preserving the value in the comics you purchase. It depends, because like some things you just want to get because you enjoy the read. And for me, I love, especially the older books before they move to this new paper. Like, I love the smell of an old book. You know what I mean? So for me, I have a ton that are sentimental value. So that I don't care too much, but about the monetary value. But obviously the ones that I purchased with an eye to flip around to be able to buy more books are the ones I value in the comics that I do purchase. And I don't have examples of that here in this room, but I'll hit us up on the social media. Maybe we can do a little talk about a little flip. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I think for me, my preserving, and again, value, but I know what Mike's talking about. Value, the fiscal, or financial value of the book. That's grown with me over time. I've learned more and more how to respect the value and the condition of the book. And really, ultimately, I treat 50-cent books in the same manner that I treat key books. I really value keeping my books in pristine condition. Now, with that being said, I'm not somebody that goes out shopping for pristine books. If there's if I'm looking for a run filler and I can find one, like just a random Thor book from maybe the 70s or 80s, I could find one for $4, or I could find a near mint copy for $10. I'm buying the $4 one as long as it's not missing pages or missing part of the cover, or like got rusty staples. So, there's a balance there. But I will say one more thing too. When it came to my kids when they were younger, if my kids, unless it was a high dollar book, if my kids wanted to read some of my comic books, I let them read my books. I told them, hey, look, try not to, rip it apart, but I let my kids read my books. So anything for my kids, I think that's where I kind of let my guard down and say, it is what it is.
Yeah, my daughter's 4 years old. I get her own books right now.
Yeah.
I just show her what books. I'm like, why can't we just pop them out? No, we're going to be careful with these. But I get her own books because she's 4. A couple years, I'll definitely be doing the same thing.
Yeah, I will say my kids were at a much older age when they really started reading my books. So for a 4-year-old, All
right, B. Schnurr, have you checked out that app CLZ Comics? Chris turned me onto it and changed the game for me. I have checked it out, but I haven't gotten. This was years ago, I think, when it first came out. I kind of strayed away from it. I'll be honest. Like I do use Cover Price. I think Cover Price is outstanding. The information it gives you changes on a daily basis. You can watch your collection, see what's hot, see if you want to pop one out, and flip that to get more, to get more books. I think it's fantastic. I can't say enough about Cover Price.
Hey, Jeff, let me ask you to this. You catalog, you use Cover Price to catalog your books?
I did do that because I had it on Comic Book Realm, which I know you talk a lot about too. And I still use that as well, but I put all my books on Cover Price. And again, we talk about Cover Price a lot here. They do not pay us to say that. We truly believe in their product. So I think it's worth checking out. Is it worth the $7 a month, I think, for the subscription? It depends. I'm getting a little tired of the subscriptions I do have for other things, so I'm gonna have to reevaluate that. But for right now, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree too. You know, I pay the $2.99 a month, and I can only catalog like 50 books. But it's cool to put, you know, certain keys in there and watch what they're doing on the market. I will say, like for me, I probably will never, unless CLZ goes out, I lose the ability to catalog.
Mm-hmm.
I have almost 17,000 books cataloged, and I am not cataloging that many books into another service ever again if I have the choice. So I am stuck with CLZ. But hey, CLZ is evolving too. You know, there's a lot more features that they're offering. Like one thing that I did for I'm gonna do a live show coming up talking about return on investment for my graded books. And one thing that is really cool with the CLZ app as well is you can catalog in there when you bought the book, how much you paid for it, you know, what grade it's in, if it's CGC and all these things. So when I was making my spreadsheet for my my show that I'm going to do, I can just pull up the app and pull out all that information there. So yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Look, if you have the money to utilize all of these platforms and it doesn't overwhelm you by having so many different things going on, I highly suggest diving into all of them because you can really navigate through each of them in a different manner, and they all might add some sort of value and quality to what you're doing as a collector.
Yeah, definitely. But it is tedious to be putting that data entry. That data entry is just insane. I have a good question from Mike Sears, the Kid Collector. When will that live show be? He's asking you.
Thanks, Kid Collector. So that live show will most likely be this Sunday, so in like 2 days here. I'll probably either post the reminder on my channel either tonight or tomorrow.
Excellent. So Mike Sears, it's a good question from Mike Sears. To both of you, what is the rarest, most valuable comic you own? I'm going to have to go off camera for 1 sec to get it. So Chris, I'm going to bring you up full screen.
Nice. All right, man, that is such a great question. I don't even know what Jeff's gonna pull out here. So I have a couple books in mind. I'll wait for him to get back before we go into that, though. Keep in mind, though, you know, rare in value. Usually they correlate, but what you got there, Jeff?
All right, I have something. I'm glad you brought that point up because Mike, this doesn't correlate. This is the most rare comic I have, but not the most valuable. And I got this in the 90s. I sent away for it myself, you know, when I was early, you know, much younger collector. And I've had it in my collection this whole time. And I had to put it up on Reddit because I haven't seen it anywhere. And I was like, hey, do you guys know anything about this comic book? And I finally got a response on Reddit saying that it is one of the most rare. It's a Tick comic book that you had to send away for, right?
Ooh.
Okay, it's when, because basically New England Comics would promote, they were a comic book shop, but they would also promote the Tick. I'm pretty sure all you are most familiar with the Tick. But this book specifically, you had to send in for, and they sent you a letter too, which obviously I didn't keep in as good condition. Greetings and salutations to all our friends. We'd like to apologize to those of you who have waited patiently for the surprise we promised for sending in your 1990 NEC survey, New England Comics. At least your patience has been rewarded. Enclosed, you will find the rarest test issue of the Tick. This special 16-page trial version was prepared in response to feedback we got from the survey. Question regarding possible future formats for the Tick. Okay, so this is the most rare book, and I put that up on Reddit, and this guy's a diehard Tick fan, which I am not. And he said he's never, ever, ever, ever seen that in the wild, and he's trying to complete his collection.
Ooh.
So that's, again, not my most valuable. I have to say my 9.8 Deadpool is probably my most valuable, which is probably a little over 1,000. I don't really have crazy expensive books. I'm not sure. Chris, what do you got?
Hey, I would just throw like $5,000 for that Tick book out at him and see what he says. You just throw some random number.
I mean, you can't find it anywhere, but also, who knows? Anyways, I'm not going to say $5,000.
You never know. Hey, if it's the only, or let him name the price, right? Maybe he'll just drop some big number and like, take it.
Yeah. Yo, Isaac Maynard, though, this guy wins.
Oh, yeah.
The most valuable comic that I own is Amazing Fantasy 15. That's a great question. Let me follow up a question. What grade is that, man? What is that Amazing Fantasy 15?
I think you said it was a very high grade. Hey, I want to say that I think one of my most rarest books, and I don't know in terms of rarity because I have so many. I can't. But I know that my Star Wars Clone Wars #1, the newsstand edition, is extremely rare. It was I think the print run of the regular direct edition was like somewhere around like 7,000, and that the newsstand was even less. And they're even rarer in high condition because they were only distributed to like Borders bookstores and in Barnes and Nobles, and they sat on the magazine racks. So they would sit there and get read and whatnot. So that's a pretty rare one, and it is extremely valuable. A 9.8 in that right now I saw it go for over $2,000. But in terms of value too, I think just a couple off the top of my head is probably like First Appearance of Galactus and Amazing Spider-Man 129 that I just picked up. But I have to really
his Grail, he finally got it.
Yes, yep. Indeed.
All right.
Isaac 9.0.
Yeah, man. I mean, the dude has an Amazing Fantasy 15 and a 9.0. Isaac, kudos. Everybody give him a kudos. Everybody in the chat, give him a big clap. All right, Amir Pinder. Looks like a new viewer here. Thanks for joining us. I'm sorry, Amar Pinder. Thanks for joining us. What's your favorite Star Wars comic book? Chris, this is probably geared more towards you. I don't read that many. I read, was his name Canon? I recently read that. I like that book. But Chris, what is your favorite Star Wars book? Because you have a ton of them. Here we go.
I'll show you right now. Now, I would like to say the original 1977 Star Wars #1 because, I love Bronze Age. I love Bronze Age Marvel, and I love Star Wars. And that just had it all right there. That's where it all started in comic books. But as a story and a run, the Splinter of the Mind's Eye, it's 5 issues, right? No, 4-issue Dark Horse miniseries are my favorite Star Wars books. This is a novel. I own the novel too. That's right up there. I won't grab that, but just the rendition that there's two. Do I have 2 #1s? I have 2 #1s. #2. Amazing story. This takes place, you don't see, the really interesting thing about Star Wars is that a lot of Star Wars fans that are even diehard fans, they watch the movies and they think that that's all there is. The EU is so expanded. And, I don't think people realize that the time period between like The Empire Strikes Back to Return of the Jedi was like 1 year. And then the time period between the first film and the second film was 3 years. And this takes place after Empire Strikes Back, where Leia and Luke confront Vader. So it's a really awesome storyline, and I would definitely have to say that set there is my favorite.
Amar, thank you for that question. Now, actually, I have a question for you. That obviously that's not in canon anymore, though. Now that because that was a Dark Horse publication, right?
It depends who you ask. I like to think that everything that was before in any part of the EU still exists, at least to some extent. And I think to give credit to even what Disney has done with the films and what Marvel has done since taking back the rights to the comic book publishing, is that everything can be loosely deciphered as still existing cohesively. But you'd have to really dive into that to say, well, how could this happen if that happened and this happened? Yeah. So, it's really all up in the air. And I think for each individual Star Wars fan, it's a matter of how you perceive it and what makes you happy in believing, right? Like if you want to believe that it's all still canon, go ahead, because it's all still there and it still exists.
Yeah. And here's a great question. Dan Mills wanted to follow up. Chris, how do you track your catalog? Got it all on a local computer, spreadsheets, etc. That's a really good question, especially for all you collectors that have a lot to catalog.
Absolutely. CLZ. Here's the CLZ app. And as you can see right there, if we can focus in, I don't know if you guys can. Come on, focus. It goes by run. Amazing Spider-Man. That's my highest run. Captain America Volume 1. You can pull up. It has the covers to each book. It shows what I have in my collection and so forth. Tells me the grade that it's in and everything. So I'm sorry that that's blurry. I couldn't get it to not be blurry. But so I catalog everything into the app. So when I cataloged my collection, it took me weeks. So I had to go through each book. You can scan barcodes with this book. So, you know, like if this book had the barcode here, you know, I can use the app, scan the barcode, and it would register. But some of them you have to find the run and click the check mark and enter them in manually. So it took me weeks to get everything in. Now I can also access my CLZ catalog on the internet on my computer. So it's all right there for me and everything. Now I don't know for cover price. Jet, maybe you have more information on this. If you can load them in and catalog them similarly with cover price, is there? So there's no. So yeah. So there's no functionality of scanning the books in and cataloging them through the app with cover price. So go ahead.
I don't even think they have an app. So
right.
I literally by hand, and it took a while, but I think it's worth it just to be able to follow what you have. Man, thank you so much, guys, for these questions. Mike Sears, what grade is that Deadpool on the wall? This is a 9.8. This is my original book that I bought off the rack, which is just like, wow. I was blown away. However, it is CBCS. I don't, obviously that thing knocks it down maybe $100 or $200 or whatever. But I was just like blown away that the book that I picked up, as a kid, it kept it for this long because I got it graded 3-4 years ago. It was a 9.8, so that was super exciting. Bishner has a question for Isaac. How did you get that? Did you buy it, inherit it? That's just an insane high grade. Hopefully Isaac is still here. He can answer us. Thank you, Mike. Mike Sears is very impressed with, I guess, my New Mutants. What is the grade on my Amazing Spider-Man 300? This is again another book that I picked off the spinner rack as a kid buying it. I didn't get as lucky. This one's a 6.5 CBCS. Oh. I know. I was a little disappointed in that, but I'm glad it's encapsulated. This is sentimental to me. This is one I will not ever get rid of. It just brings back like all these feelings when you first read this Tom McFarlane run, Dave Michelini run too. So yeah, 6.5.
Nice. Hey, I got a little information here for you. So we're kind of putting Isaac on the spot, but hopefully, I don't know how old Isaac is, but if he wants to retire tomorrow, a 9.0 fair market value Amazing Fantasy 15. $480,000.
Yeah, good for you, man. Good for you. I'm not sure if he's still in the stream here, but God, wow, that's incredible. Kid Collector does have a question about how many Amazing Spider-Man books do you have? He's trying to get 1 through 801. Chris, what do you got?
Well, okay, so for Volume 1, and it breaks down. CLZ breaks down Volume 1 up until 1990. Spider-Man went to 1998 when it stopped and was reset. I have 388 out of 441. So I'm only missing 53 books from Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1. But then, for Volume 2, I have 202. I'm missing even less from Volume 2. So that's like 1998 to 2012 before the Octavius took over with the Superior Spider-Man. And then I have every single run or every single book of Amazing Spider-Man Volume 3, 4, and I think we're on 5 now. So it's it's getting there.
That's impressive. Isaac Maynard answered the question. I think he says that the Amazing Fantasy 15 he owns. He wanted it in auction.
Awesome.
And I'm never going to sell the Amazing Fantasy 15 so we could stay in the purse. Mike Sears keeps asking, how about Detective Comics 33, Chris? I'm not sure if he knows something I don't.
Value. The value. He wants to know the value. What grade?
I'm not sure what he's asking there.
I think he wants to know the value of a Batman 33.
I mean, I can look. Let's find another question here, and then I can get on here. I can get online and look it up quick. Yeah, he's asked a couple times. We'll get that. Mike, we'll get that information to you in a hot second here. Let's see if we can find any questions. Oh, Ninja Turtles, Jeff from Dan Mills. No, but Chris, why don't you tell Dan Mills how you feel about Ninja Turtles?
Ninja Turtles was my first comic book I ever purchased. I remember the day. I was like 4 years old. I remember being in the Alpha Beta grocery store with my mom, and it was on a spinner rack or something like that. And it was the Random House paperback collection of the first Archie miniseries that came out in, I believe, 87. So maybe I was 5 years old, 4 or 5. And I mean, I started drawing Ninja Turtles when I was like 3, 4 years old. I love the original series. I love the toys. I love everything about Ninja Turtles. I can't wait to get my hands on the last Ronin and read that coming up. And I'm a huge turtle dude. And I am so happy that Michael Bay is no longer making Ninja Turtle movies.
Oh, please, God. Absolutely. All right. So how about Detective Comics 33? The information is pulling up right here. You know what? One thing about Cover Price, and they self-admitted, they admit this, is that their site is a little bit slow. They need to improve on the speed. I'm about to check it out. It's pulling up right here. Okay. So here we go. The last recorded sale at a 1.5 was $27,500. That was on June 30th, 2019. So not many of these swap hands.
Yeah.
The highest, this is crazy. All right. They're saying at a graded comic sales average, and again, they go by data because not many people are selling these, but they're saying for 8.0, it's $89,456. Although they have a 9.2 that sold for, this had to have been a long time ago. It's got to be more than that now, though. Like, again, people are not selling these,
right?
So, like, those $1 million sales are not happening, which would affect. Does that make sense? That would affect the average there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can even. That's why I was talking about your tick book. It's like, if there's nothing being sold on the market, it's like, how do you understand a current fair market value? You could take averages. But if a book hasn't sold in 5 years, especially a book like this, it's not selling because it's not hot. It's not selling because they're extremely rare and people are holding on to them.
Yeah.
So that means that, that value is, it almost becomes invaluable because you can't even begin to put a price tag on it until you see one hit the market and see how the wolves go after it. Right. So it's a very interesting situation.
So basically, in a 9.2, this is crazy. 9.2 in March of 2018 sold for $23,000.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's insane. 585 Comics, what up? Thank you for joining us. We're just about to wrap up the show. Unless any of you guys have more questions, it's always a pleasure hanging out with you guys on these Fridays, talking comic book and geek culture. That's our show for today, though. We really, really appreciate it. Once again, every Friday. Why don't you go? How about this, though? How about this? We, by the way, Mike Sears thinks that there's only 50 known in existence. But why don't you guys give us a follow at Comic Book Canon on Instagram and Twitter. Facebook is a work in progress. But that, again, that is our show. Thank you again for joining us this Friday. Hopefully you'll join us next Friday and check out our previous previous episodes and segments. We're always working to improve the show, always looking to have a good time with you, and it did not disappoint this evening. Chris, do you have any last words for this evening?
I do. I have one thing about Cover Price. We talk about them a lot. I just want everyone to know too. Cover Price is fairly new, and they're going to be continuing to improve. So I'm glad that we can use them as a resource here. I think Jeff and I both stand behind what they're doing. Two, I do want to talk or let everyone know that I will be having a live stream this Sunday on my channel. We'll probably have some special guests. Jeff might show up and pop up over there. So find us there. And other than that, check out the Comic Book Canon YouTube all throughout the week. Come visit us again next Friday.
Absolutely. Again, Captain Journos Comics is your handle on YouTube. You forgot to mention that.
Actually, it's / Journos Comics and Pop Culture.
That's what I said. That's what I meant.
No worries.
So again,
that's my email. That was my email.
Thank you all. Hit us up over the weeks. Tell us what you want to see in the show. We love doing this for you. Until next time, you guys all have a great week.